Small island nation who everybody questioned before the start of this tournament, and they certainly needn't as well. Even if it had been a 32-team tournament, Cape Verde would still have qualified top of their qualification group. They are no mugs. They went under the radar, and they are showing everybody why they mean business. 40-year-old goalkeeper Josimar Vozinha Diaz, the Chavez man, in his 91st appearance for his country. Gained 5 million followers overnight after the first game. How many more could he gain tonight if they were to pick up a result? And we are underway here in Houston, and it's Cape Verde getting us underway, going from left to right in their all-blue strip that we've come to be more accustomed to in the opening couple of games of this competition. Saudi Arabia in their familiar white, which has also been their regular colour during the competition as well. If you haven't surmised, they'll be going from right to left, and it's back with Vozinha in the goal to get an early touch on the ball, and it's given away straight away towards Saudi Arabia, who have an opportunity to try and break towards the left-hand side, but good defensive work in the middle by Cape Verde, but then lost out in the centre by Mendes, who's playing a little bit more of a central role, and he's still down on his knees inside the opening 60 seconds here, and the referee's still not too wise to it, although he has looked over. It seems that he is still struggling to get back to his feet. Saudi Arabia is still trying to play the game, but the referee, the Frenchman, happy just to allow the ball to go out. He took charge of that game between Spain and England in the Euro final 2 years ago. It's something I never really want to relive too much, is the disappointment of being an Englishman for them in major competitions, particularly over the last few years at least. Whilst I was growing up, they went out in earlier stages of the competition, or sometimes didn't even qualify, particularly back in 2008 for the Euros there. But nowadays it's always so near yet so far, and I'm sure it makes the rest of the world smile just a little bit more when they do end up falling a little bit short. But Mendes is back to his feet, and Saudi Arabia are back on the ball again, but giving away halfway inside their own half to Mendes, who looks to be a lot more reassured now. He is back to his feet. Can't quite keep hold of the ball, and in the opening 2 minutes of this game it's been rather scrappy, with neither side able to just get hold of it and apply a little bit of pressure at either end. But it's hoofed long by Saudi Arabia and just knocked back comfortably towards Vozinha in the goal by Wagner and Pico at the back, who occupy what is going to be a very, very tight-knit back four here between Wagner, Pico, Dini and Paulo. Dini, the man nicknamed for the Albert Herman Borges. Pico is Roberto Lopez, just in case you're confused about the lineup I gave you earlier and the nicknames that they do have on the back of their shirts, which gives us an indication of who they are. I did actually see Cape Verde play a couple of years ago in the qualifications over in Cape Verde. I was on holiday with the wife to the wonderful island nation. It slowly becoming a bit more of a touristy place, is Cape Verde, occupied by a tourist group, a British tourist group which I won't name, who have added quite a lot of jobs to a couple of the islands as well, and it's really starting to pick up what a beautiful place and wonderful people it is. But they were also playing in one of the qualification games there as well. The wife wasn't too happy. I dragged her to a game as Paulo wins a free kick just on this near side of his, the far side of his own half, as Abdul Hamid just comes in a little bit late. A bit of a high boot on the Cape Verdean left back, the 28-year-old who plays over FCS, big as his 33rd appearance from Ciudad Verde. A work permit drama to go to Romania. He can play also as a midfield option as well, but occupying the left back position at the moment is João Paulo Fernandes. His route really tells of an excellent Cape Verdean football story, as does this entire team. It's been a wonderful World Cup so far. Atmosphere's been brilliant. Maybe not quite as wonderful tournament, so far. It's maybe not quite been as good as Qatar a couple of years ago in terms of some of the games that we have seen. And in terms of the atmosphere in and around the competition, it's certainly a little bit better, a little bit more open. And the fans enjoying themselves a lot more. A lot more fans have travelled for this one. There's a world record announcement of the number of fans that have been attending games, and that probably is due to the size of the American grounds that they do have, and the fact that it is a 40-18 tournament compared to the 32 we've had in previous competitions. As down this near right-hand side, Cape Verde just trying to break free, but they can't quite get out of their own half, and Saudi Arabia will win a throw-in on the halfway line just in front of the dugouts. 5 minutes gone there, nothing to shout about in the opening exchanges between the two sides. Neither side really able to just get hold of the ball and play it forward as they would like. It is a very, very nervy affair. One of these two sides has to come out with a result. Cape Verde know that a point might just be enough, so they might just sit back a little bit, knowing that they could potentially go through without having a win or defeat. As a handball looked to be a surefire handball against Ryan Mendes on this near side, but the referee in the middle of the pipe didn't quite have an eye on it, and he's back deep inside Cape Verdean territory with Dini over on the far side. Has to go back to the 40-year-old goalkeeper Vorzinha. His clearance with his weak left boot isn't the most confident, and neither is the second clearance upfield towards the halfway line. It's picked up on the near side by those in white of Saudi Arabia. Linking up nicely is Salem, who's just dropped into a midfield role after starting up front against Spain. He a little bit more of that midfield against Uruguay in the opening game that they did pick out a 1-1 draw, which could well help them get to the next round of the competition. I'll keep you up to date as well with the score in the Spain-Uruguay game. Still 0-0 in that one after 7 minutes, and plenty of other sides are also keeping the tabs of both of these two games. Those third place teams are always keeping an eye. The likes of Scotland, who are sitting second in that secondary table before the 3-0 defeat to Brazil. And now sitting at the start of the day in that 9th place, but that could all be a little bit more beneficial if Spain were to beat Uruguay and Cape Verde were to pick up a result here. That would benefit them somewhat, but plenty of eventualities now have to happen for Scotland to make their way through. As an Englishman, I do feel a little bit for Scotland, as much as it is amusing. I still want them to do well. The Scottish fans and the English, they like to give it to each other. Scotland yet to make it out of the group stages at this major competition in their entire history. And in the expanded competition, they came with so much hope. They brought plenty of noise, particularly during their national anthems. They've endeared themselves to Boston as well. 8 minutes gone in this game. A free kick goes to Saudi Arabia, 10 yards inside the Cape Verde half, just hugging this near side touchline. The fans in the stands very nervous for this one. An outstretched arm. It just came in from Wagner on the near side, and the referee's going to bring it back and put Wagner into the book early on here, the Frenchman. Wagner Pina is his trade on a day-to-day in Turkey for Trabzonspor, the 23-year-old. He's a converted right-sided player. He has been linked with the move over to England as well. He's quietly turning up old youth coach Bet into a serious career as well. He's certainly winning that bet that he had with his coach when he was a little bit younger. Another one of the wonderful stories that comes out of this Cape Verdean side during this tournament. And they'll be hoping that that continues as Saudi Arabia get on with the free kick. They'll take it back towards the halfway line and just try and switch the play towards the right-hand side, but good defending again over on the far side, this time by Paolo, who forces a throw-in halfway inside the Cape Verde half to Saudi Arabia. And just over the last couple of minutes or so, Saudi Arabia just getting themselves on the ball a little bit more. It's what we probably would expect to see from the side who came through Asia's fourth round Group B qualification. They beat Indonesia 3-2, drew with Iraq in Jeddah. With Al-Aki's late save preserving the point that sent them through on goals scored of all things. It took them a little bit to manage to get their way through as Cape Verde chance to just lift it over the top, almost getting towards the edge of the area and just scrambled away, trying to flick it back through over the top once again. Is Duarte on this right hand side, can't quite find the pass as it comes back in towards Mendes, struggling to get out of his feet, does manage to just knock it in towards Montero, a nice little cushion pass, has to go back though towards Pico, who will just start the attack again for Cape Verde alongside Dini, who moves it across towards Paulo on the far side of the pitch and loses out, and good work from the Green Falcons over on the far side. We haven't seen much of that green on the tournament so far, and at the minute they're a little bit green with envy of Cape Verde. Have been adored by many attendees and the millions that, you could even say billions, that watch around the world. 11 minutes gone, 0-0 between these two sides. Make sure that you are watching the game through your local TV provider. We'll bring you the sound, they'll bring you the pictures. And Saudi Arabia looks to just throw the ball down the left-hand channel. It's scrambling to do the defensive work. Is Dini moving out of that centre-half role, but he's under pressure as well, just has to put it out of play in an attacking position for Saudi Arabia to try and get themselves forward. It could be a real opportunity for the long throw to try and put some pressure on Vozinha in the goal, the national treasure. The AFCON trailblazer, still Cape Verde's guardian at 40. One of the island's greatest. Long throw comes in, it's knocked down inside the area, and Saudi Arabia just about can't keep hold of the ball, and Cape Verde scramble it away, but again can't latch on to it on this near side. Livramento hasn't had too much of a sight on the ball, and one of his first touches that he has just kicks it straight out of play. Nerves are flowing in this game in the early moments of it. Both sides know the implications that a goal will have. It will reverberate around this tournament. We've seen sides already that have qualified for the next round. We're already into Group H in the third round of games. Saudi Arabia down the right-hand channel, looking to just put a cross in towards the box, but it's a poor one and dealt with rather comfortably by Paulo. Can't quite squeeze it free, and the linesman's flag does go up over on the far side, and the referee, the Frenchman, will bring it back as he gets in the way of the ball once again, and he'll have to stop the play once more for a drop ball to Saudi Arabia. Move it back towards the halfway line, the space towards the left hand side, but they might go a little bit more central, linking in towards Nasser. Likes to feed it down the right hand side, looking to Mandash, but can't quite find the pass once more, and Cape Verde will just scramble it free, but win the free kick as well, as Nasser just goes in with a slightly late challenge. And Paulo, who has had plenty of the ball in the back for Cape Verde in the opening 15 minutes of this game. It's the first meeting ever between these two sides. Cape Verde will be looking to continue to play that compact football that we've seen in the opening two games. They're certainly showing that so far in the opening exchanges as well. That low block that they played, the fast wide breaks against the Saudi side, trying to impose more of possession after that Spain defeat. You know that goal difference could also make a difference as well, should it come to it. Down the left hand side, a lovely little turn and drive now down the left hand side. It comes towards Mendes, trying to stretch his legs, trying to take on a third man, but a good clearance from Al Amri just inside his own area. It was a wonderful turn on the halfway line, just driving down the left hand side, tried to carry on going. There was a couple of players just waiting inside the box, hoping for a pass. But Saud, Abdul Hamid and Al Amri getting back to do the defensive work, and it was Al Amri who put in that final challenge. But Cape Verde have a long throw opportunity from the far left hand side, level with the edge of the 6-yard box. A couple of runners have gone short, go to the throw looking towards Dini. Saudi Arabia clear it towards Mendes again down the left hand side. looking to try and put a cross into the box, but there's 3 Saudi players that have stood right in front of it to deny Cape Verde an opportunity to cross. So they'll try and move it across towards the right-hand side to open up a little bit of space. Linking up with Semedo is Wagner, but Semedo just trying to go alone, driving towards the box, and he's just pushed off the ball, and Saudi Arabia will come away with it once more. Counter-attack opportunity, but the pass isn't found. Still with Saudi though on the ball, and again screaming for it is Salem down the left-hand side. And Kaibari holds his hand up, he apologises to Salem, but 2 real opportunities to just find the pass, to try and get it through behind the back of Wagner. Salem has plenty of experience to his name. He has a 113th appearance for the national side. He scored 27 goals for the national team. He's been known as the Saudi Messi, and the Argentina slayer of 2022. He didn't have too much impact on the outcome of that tournament in the end, but it certainly made the opening round of fixtures in Qatar a little bit more exciting to see Saudi Arabia pick up that result. It's something that we haven't seen too much of in this competition. We saw a couple of results in the opening round of fixtures. Cape Verde was the big one against Spain, that 0-0. Curaçao scoring against Germany was a big one as well. New Zealand also getting a draw as well, but down the left hand side it now is towards Salem, breaking inside the box but under pressure from Mendes, just trying to force him wide, tries to pull it back in, but excellent work again from Semedo just to come and double up on him on the near side, but they can't keep hold of the ball and it's gone out for a throw to Saudi Arabia, level with the edge of the Cape Verde box. USA losing last night to Turkey, just denting a little bit of the hope that the American fans were starting to get a little bit too big for the boots in this tournament, which is always nice to see them put in their place, particularly on home soil. Plenty of talk of them wanting to host every tournament. And they have also said that they do want to host it again in 2038, and as an Englishman, rather annoyed that we haven't had it since 1966. And America could have had it 3 times in 44 years, despite the infrastructure being far, far better to host a major tournament. It was the reason that during COVID the Euros were moved over to England, because it was a ready-made country for a competition. But Saudi Arabia, they will host in 2030. And they look to get the ball in towards the box as well. He bounced over towards Salem, takes one touch and goes for a strike, but getting across really well was Wagner to put in a block, and that was certainly flying into the roof of the net from this angle. You could really see it from where we are up in the gods here in Houston. It's a beautiful ball from the right hand side, just over the top of the Cape Verdean defence, just bounced once in front of Salemi, chested it down, just cushioned nicely, and then just tried to go with that trusty left boot into the left-hand side of Vozinha's goal. And that was certainly flying, but for the block of Wagner getting across, who's been excellent in the opening 15 minutes of this game. But Saudi Arabia win a free kick 5 yards off the near touchline, halfway inside the Cape Verdean half, and another opportunity to put a bit of pressure on Vozinha. In the goal, and it's 5-6 lined up for the Green Falcons on the edge of the area. Cape Verde just trying to keep them further out. The ball's played in, but cleared out by the first man rather comfortably. The free kick was a poor one on this near side by Nasser. They try and get themselves down the right hand side this time, but good defensive work again from Paulo Fernandes, and it goes out for a goal kick to the African island nation. Saudi Arabia, we're talking about them hosting the competition in 2030. Sorry, 2034, my apologies. The next one is the combined Spain, Portugal, Morocco and Uruguay. They're trying to celebrate the 100th year since the first ever tournament that took place in Uruguay, to which they did win it. It's also a way for them to fast-track Saudi Arabia into the 2034 tournament, despite the fact that another Asian country hosted it just 4 years ago. They are supposed to go around the continent in order. Don't ask me what the order should be, but by having European sides, African side in Morocco, and 2 games being played excuse me, in Uruguay, it does mean that they can claim that they've been across to those 3 continents and bring Saudi Arabia back into the fold once again. Can't say too pleased with it. Some of the best tournaments we have had are in some of those lesser continents. South Africa, apart from the Vuvuzelas, was an excellent tournament. Brazil, to which I went just after leaving university at the time, was an absolutely sensational tournament. Japan, South Korea. I was only about 10 years old during that one, but my father and plenty of his friends went across to that and said that was an absolutely incredible competition as well. In terms of atmosphere, Qatar and Saudi Arabia certainly don't bring the type of atmosphere that you are to expect on the world stage, despite the incredible grounds that they will build. And Saudi Arabia is certainly ambitious in terms of what they would like to try and achieve for that major competition. Spain and Portugal will certainly be an interesting one, and Uruguay will certainly bring the noise as well. Well, 0-0 here, 21 minutes gone. It's a very, very nervy affair between both of these 2 sides. Nothing between them as we get closer and closer towards the hydration break here. Saudi Arabia just trying to find the overlap, but the referee will pull it back. He hasn't, in fact. He's allowed play to go on. I thought he was pointing toward a free kick to Saudi Arabia for a late tackle that came in over on the far side. Just a bit of a shove in the back over down that right-hand side in towards Mandash, but the referee happy to allow play on. And now Cape Verde will have the first real opportunity down the left-hand side. And breaking with it is Mendes once again, who then tries to go for goal and forces the corner kick. Excellent work down the left-hand side again from the young man, just linking well in towards Semedo, who continued his run in towards the box and just tried to take it onto the angle. He was closed down quickly by Abdul Hamid. Tried to go in towards the near right-hand post. The keeper, Alouaise, who hasn't had too much to do in the opening 22 minutes of the game, just gets down to his right-hand side but can't quite keep hold on to it. In Cape Verde have the corner kick, and the big centre halves will now make their way forward. Pico and Dini coming in from the centre half. Is going to be an outswinger from the far side. 5 inside the box, 2 lurking on the edge of the area, all but 1 inside the box for Saudi Arabia. And the corner kick that's come in is probably one of the worst you'll see all competition. It was just more of a pass towards the first man than anything else. I think it might have been something off the training ground that hasn't quite come to fruition on that occasion, and a bit of a waste from the Cape Verdeans on that occasion, but I'm sure their fans will forgive them. Halfway inside the first half of this game, still 0-0 between Uruguay and Spain. Cape Verde just on the edge of their own penalty area, having to go back towards Vuzinha, who just puts his foot through it. At the ripe age of 40, doesn't quite have the distance on his clearances that he used to have in his younger years, but at the same time managed to just clear the ball forward. Knocked down though inside the Cape Verdean half towards Salem. Tries to turn and push it towards the right hand side, but can only find a man in blue, and that's Montero, who has a bit of space to break forward with Semedo. Links up towards Paolo, charging down the left hand channel. His pass back towards Semedo, a little bit too far in front of him. Has to use his body and his weight just to push off a man. Salem trying to get back and do the defensive work, and pinching it off his opposite number, Montero. And Saudi Arabia will come away with the ball, moving it inside their own half from Kano towards the right hand side, but again a loose pass going towards Mandash, goes out for a throw in. And the scrappy opening half of the first half is just continuing between the sides, and they'll both have a little bit of time to have a conversation between themselves as we do go to the first hydration break of this contest. Hopefully it is something that we don't get going forward. It's a roof stadium here. It's a very high roof stadium here in Houston. It's a lot cooler And plenty of other grounds. We've seen hydration breaks during this competition for games that have been rainy. The England-Ghana game was absolutely pouring it down, and still they required a hydration break. But this stadium, it's an incredible stadium. It's home to the Houston Texans in the MLS, and they also host livestock shows and rodeos as well. And it was the NFL's first retractable roof stadium that matters in Houston, where the heat and the indoor field can shape the tempo and the atmosphere as well. And Houston gives the game space, city scale, oil and energy, rodeo. Texas is an incredible place, and Houston is certainly one of those places, if you ever do get across to the United States, and depending where you are in the world, that might be for a couple of years, but I'm sure eventually it might become a little bit more welcoming to a few places. Texas is certainly a very, very wonderful place. Houston, home to the Space Center. It brought us the moon landings. If you are a moon landing skeptic, then I'm not the man for you. I absolutely love all that sort of thing. I was in Florida for the space launch of Artemis 2, watching them take off, which was probably one of the most surreal moments I've ever been witness to. And I did say to the wife on the day that this is actually better than the wedding date, which I don't think that went down too well, but she did in the end say, you know what, I think you're absolutely right. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. Something completely different. I guess everybody can have a wedding day, but not everybody can see a rocket launch from Cape Canaveral in Florida. And it's a sunny, clear day here in Houston. It's hot outside, it's cool inside. Cape Verde, one of the windiest places in the world. It's an island nation just off the west coast of Africa in the Atlantic archipelago. Its diaspora is central to the national team, and in many places they outnumber the population living in the islands. They became independent from Portugal in 1975, and they joined the ranks with everyone else in 1986 and turned a small player pool into one of the great modern qualification stories. As we're back underway with a throw-in over on the far side after the hydration break has ended. It's also just ended in the game between Uruguay and Spain. 0-0 in that contest. So 28 minutes into the game, it is as you were between all four sides, with Spain sitting at the top on 5 points. Uruguay and Cape Verde, 3 points between them, but Uruguay occupying that third spot. But as it stands, Cape Verde will occupy sixth place in the third place standings. Saudi Arabia on 2 points. They're the ones that need to get a result out of this more than any other side. As a free kick goes Cape Verde's way inside the centre circle, taken quickly towards the left-hand side by Paulo. Moved across again towards the left with Paulo linking up really well, trying to put a cross in towards the box, almost gets in towards the near side. It took a deflection on the way through, appeals for a corner kick, but the referee happy that Alois in the goal, the 34-year-old, the man who was man of the match against Argentina in 2022, and Sally's calm during tournaments. Made some key saves during that Uruguay draw. Plies his trade against Al-Ula. Just two players on the Saudi side ply their trade outside of Saudi Arabia. And one of those is the right back Abdul Hamid, who had a loan spell at Lens this season, almost had a wonderful year, almost won the leagues. It comes back down the right hand side for Cape Verde, crossed one towards the box, and it's just in behind the back of Livramento. It was a wonderful ball down the right hand side, just looking to pull it back, but there was no one there in blue to try and tuck it home. It still is Cape Verde down the right left hand side, crossed in with the right boot, a little bit of an in swinger, and just seen out comfortably by Washi Bruchal in that left back role. With the Cape Verdeans in the stand, they hold their hands together, they pray that would have found a man in blue, but it was a wonderful ball down the right-hand side. It was Livramento that latched on to. He had a bit of space to drive into and selfishly tried to find the cross, looking for the run of Duarte inside the box, but couldn't quite find the pass. He was marked, in fact, really well by Alton Bakti. There's no one else from Cape Verde that was that high up the pitch. They had to play a little bit more defensive in that 4-1-4-1, and we've just got a little bit of a stoppage in plays. We're a third of the way through this game. The Saudi player is down in the box. I can't quite see, excuse me, on the angle who is currently. There's quite a few Saudi players just gathering around him, just getting a bit of deep freeze sprayed on him. To try and assist with what looks to just be a little bit of cramp as the ball came over, just slightly outstretched. Bari getting a talking to from Georgios Donish, the Saudi coach. Cape Verde really showing that they can offer that counter-attacking football, and they're asking for the stretcher to come on. It was, you mentioned moments ago. He's down. I can't quite see who it is again, and it is Abdul Hamid, the lens right back, who is down. It looks like that his game might have ended here, and that could well be the end of his tournament as well. In his 56th appearance, one of Saudi's Big Five league pioneers. From Roma to Lens, the first Saudi League earn player. He's been a standard bearer abroad. And apologies, it isn't. Abdul Hamid is Altan Bakti, the man who was marking Duarte inside the box. He kept onto him tight, but you can just see on the replay that they're showing that he's just outstretched and hasn't come out of that very well at all. He's called Saudi's best player by local pundits. Tambakti, the defender built to handle the imported superstars and the World Cup pressure. The Al Hilal man had a wonderful year. He helped Al Hilal no one beaten this season in their league, but in this competition it is going to end for him, and it ends disappointing as he is stretchered off and he'll be replaced by the man that Mushi Bouchal came in for, Yunla Jami, who both equally struggled against Spain in their opening game, but also had a good game as well. It was a rather interesting one. He made plenty of mistakes that ended up leading to goals, but also stopped a few extra ones going in as well with some last-ditch tackles. But Hassan Altan Bakti, his tournament looks to be over. Jami, another man who also plays for Al Hilal, is moved from Al Nasser to Al Hilal, caused quite a lot of heat in Saudi circles, but he's calm, carrying out from defence, earned him a second chance under Donis in the national side, and he'll be hoping that his impact in this game will certainly be a little bit more fruitful in the one he's had so far. An excellent tackle at the back that came in from Washi, but he's given it away towards the left-hand side. Semedo finds the overlap, and Saudi Arabia defending for the Lions. Montero trying to find the shot, but what defending that is from those in white once more. Cape Verde just about keep hold of it. Pushed towards Wagner on this near side, trying to find the overlap, but closed out really well as Mendes is back on the ball. Turns nicely with 2 and 3, now 4 Saudi players surrounding him. Can't keep hold of it, and Saudi will come away with it. A little shove in the back from Semedo. Gives away the free kick halfway inside the Saudi half. 10 minutes then to go before the end of the first half. Still 0-0 in this game. Uruguay and Spain also 0-0 in that game as well. There's only a few seconds difference between the times that these two sides kicked off. They aren't the burden of the officials, of the organisers here, of when games do start. As a fan of a lower league English side, we normally just start when the referee fancies it at that level. I do support a fourth tier side though, which is probably the reason why. You certainly don't get anyone telling you when you can start, but a ball given away inside the Saudi half. It was poor from Bouchal. Gives it towards Cape Verde. Now pushed down the right-hand side in towards Mendes. Got a little bit more space to run into. Finds the overlap on that occasion towards Wagner. Gets the cross in towards the box, but wonderful defending from Lanjami to get across and get his first touch on the ball and put a bit of pressure on the back line. He's won a free kick as well. Wonderful defending from Lanjami at the back to clear the ball. It was given away by Bouchal, who hasn't had the most confident of first half here, and his pass inside his own half was a really poor one. Cape Verde trying to then apply the pressure down the right hand side. It was a good ball in towards the box, but just stepping across was Lanjami to get there ahead of Livramento. He was trying to get himself between man and ball. He had to time that challenge well. Slight misstep and it would have been a penalty to the African island nation when they have won a free kick themselves on this near side, and I think the referee is going to pull out of... No, he's not. He's gone back to putting his hand out of his pocket, does the Frenchman, against the Saudi captain Salem, who turned on this near side but then just had his hand up into the face of Wagner. I don't think it was really intentional. I think a booking would have been quite harsh on the Saudi captain, but the free kick has gone against him nevertheless. Verde really sending too many players forward. Played across towards the left-hand side on the square patch, trying to move it down the left-hand side, but then given away. And a poor free kick on that occasion. Another poor ball, though, from Saudi Arabia. Gives it straight back to the Blue Sharks. They're yet to find their bite in this game so far. Saudi Arabia and the Green Falcons still not finding their wings either. Cape Verde with the throw halfway, on the halfway line, I should rather say, with 8 minutes to go before the end of the first half, in a group that is exceptionally tight. It's exactly what we expected from this game, to remain even tighter, but Mendes almost giving the ball away. Good defending this time from Bouchal, but Mendes just about winning it back, having to drive towards the left-hand side under pressure from Albrecan. Still trying to put the Cape Verde in defence under plenty of pressure. Moved across towards Semedo, who tries to cut in onto his right, but in stepping excellent over on that far side was Abdul Hamid to just get a foot in and put it out for a throw. Cape Verde trying to get it quickly, send it towards the left-hand side of the box, in towards Livramento. Trying to turn and drive and get across in towards the box. He managed to get it past the first man, but can't get it past Lanjami, who gets it in step and loses out towards Semedo. Pushed down the left-hand side, cross then just comes in. Looks like it takes the effects on the way through, and the referee agrees, and it'll be another corner kick to Cape Verde. And as the game's going on, Cape Verde replying a little bit more of the pressure and the momentum, just ever so slightly in their favour. It's a very, very tight affair, a very tight contest. It has the feel that one goal is going to be the difference between one of these sides potentially going through and one going home. If one side wins, the other is out. It's a corner kick, an in-swinger this time from the far side, linked towards the middle, and then it's a bit of a 50p head from Paolo. And the Saudi Arabians are fuming with the referee. The referee's given a corner kick. The Cape Verdeans are already running back for the goal kick. They know that's going to be overturned. And there's a couple of laughs as well. Abdul Hamid just stood in front of the French referee and just had a wry smile on his face. A bit of a laugh as well, because it was the most obvious goal kick you'll see all season. It was an excellent ball in from the corner from the far side. Paolo rose high, has got in front of his man, and it came off that 50p piece of his head and went in the complete wrong direction. He did ever so well to peel off, but the header wasn't very good. And the referee, I think he assumed that because of the direction that the header went, it must have come off a Saudi player. But thanks to the new rules that have come in for this competition, the referees can go to VAR and decide if it is going to be a corner or not. But interestingly, with the rule, if it's given as a corner by the referee, they can overturn it to a goal kick, but they cannot overturn a goal kick to a corner, which is also a really strange decision, which is why you'll see referees normally giving corners in situations where they are unsure, just like that one, so that it can be overturned and not have any drama. Should it have actually gone the other way? So maybe that was the thinking of the French referee on this instance. On this near side, here come Cape Verde once again. In stepping but losing the ball is Wagner, but the referee has made a late call that the free kick goes to the Blue Sharks, and he's just taking his time with a few decisions now, the referee. It has been an interesting contest inside the opening 45 minutes. Both sides look really nervy. Both sides struggling really to keep hold of the ball. It's a scrappy affair. It's always going to have that in these contests. It's what we enjoy seeing as well. Despite it being 0-0, it's certainly not the boredom that we saw between England and Ghana. Although as an Englishman, I will always give credit to Ghana as the free kick goes sent towards the far side. Little flick towards the far side towards Livramento off the top of a Saudi Arabian head. Livramento on the ball 5 yards off the touchline. Has to come back in towards Semedo. Livramento driving down the left-hand side, going to put himself a little bit more central as the pass works its way back towards Duarte. Spread now towards the right-hand side. The space just opens up towards Mendes. Closed down quickly and has to bring the pass back. Didn't quite see that Wagner had joined him down the near side, but luckily Paolo was there just to get off the Saudis chasing back, but they will have to retreat all the way back to the goalkeeper as Spain have taken the lead against Uruguay. And that means, as it stands, Cape Verde will be second in the group, and that will filter through here to Houston in this stadium in a moment or so. You'll start to see the fans appreciating that if you are watching it through your local network provider. As here come Cape Verde, they might be able to plant themselves in second place even more as it comes back towards the edge of the box. The strike comes in, but just dragged wide from the edge of the box by Semedo, and that was a good hard chance for them. Just snatched at the shot though and just dragged it wide, and now the Cape Verdeans, they've seen it on the big screen, but Spain have scored. It also reverberates around the third place positions because it means Cape Verde are no longer a side that occupy those positions in third place as they go into second, which puts Algeria back into the fold, and they return back to 8th. South Korea losing late in their game against losing to South Africa in their game from a second half goal. They'll be relieved to see that one as well. Scotland, who still have half a chance. It's a very, very small chance. I think it was 5% before the start of the night. Senegal making it even harder for them to qualify as well. With the likes of Belgium and DR Congo can all still go above a few of those sides. Croatia in 7th place, or 6th place now, apologies, in that best of third place positions. They still have to go against Ghana, who have put up a couple of really good results. In fact, that England result I was mentioning earlier on, despite the fact it's a really dull game, Ghana really came and put on a masterclass of a defensive display. They only had 20% possession, I should add, but kept out England ever so well to give themselves an opportunity to get through to the next round. And there is a little bit of shaming over in Ghana, who puts curses on certain players and certain teams, and so far he seems to have picked out the right ones. He did say that he accidentally put a curse on Turkey yesterday afternoon and then lifted it, and all of a sudden Turkey won by 3-2. So maybe me being a sceptic isn't quite as sceptical as I might actually think, but I still think it's rather amusing. But with 60 seconds to go before half time, It's still 0-0 between these two sides, and Cape Verde will now sit back and really start to apply the defensive role and throw it down the left-hand side. It's just being paused for a moment, so the throw-in goes in. Cape Verde's an extra ball was just on the pitch. He's moved in towards the centre circle, pushed out towards this right-hand side. Going to find the overlap again, and the free kick goes. Oh, it hasn't. Its throw-in's gone to Saudi Arabia. The linesman just coming straight over, charging down the left-hand side towards Mendes just to make sure he's all right. So a little bit of a muddle-up came in between himself and Bouchard on the near side, and now Saudi Arabia will win a free kick as well, halfway inside their own half, and it does mean that whichever side does win in this game, as it stands, they will automatically go through to the next round of the competition. And that also means that they would go through to play Argentina in the next round. As it stands, it's Cape Verde who will be playing against Lionel Messi in the next round of fixtures. The other games that we do know are already assured. South Africa and Canada, the first time South Africa have been into the knockout stage in their history. Netherlands against Morocco, USA, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil against Japan, Ivory Coast against Norway. But could Saudi Arabia find a goal here with 6 minutes added on at the end of the first half? Floats towards the far side of the box, but a good interception from Semedo doing the defensive work. Can't quite get hold of the second ball. It's picked up nicely from Mandash. Pulls it back to the right hand side of the box, but a good instep from Pina just to clear the ball away. He's really been doing the unseen work so far in this first half. Lofted in towards the box, then a header comes in, but it's straight at the goalkeeper on that occasion, just leaning back on the header was Albrichan, and it was a good opportunity for Saudi Arabia. It was excellent work down the right hand side, spreading the play over to the far side. Mandash laid it to the back to the edge of the box. Al Amri just tried to float one in, put an inviting ball in, and it was Kano with the last header who just couldn't quite angle it either side of the goalkeeper, and that was celebrated like a goal from the Cape Verdeans in the stands here. As with 2 minutes gone inside the 6 added on. Other games that you've got confirmed: Ivory Coast, Norway, Mexico. We'll wait to decide who they will play. They'll play a third place team. Argentina will have second place in this group. Australia also waiting to find out who they'll play. And Switzerland, they have third place teams as well in the round of 32. There are plenty of other sides who have already qualified, but we don't know where they'll sit just yet. The likes of England being one of them. Down the left-hand side, can Saudi Arabia find something right at the end of this first half? It'll be an excellent time to score. Verde conceded 2 late goals in the first half against Uruguay after leading in that game. They did manage to find an equaliser in the second 45, but a free kick given to Saudi Arabia. 5 yards off, or even about a yard off this near side touchline, halfway inside the Cape Verdean half, and the Saudis will take the time to load up the edge of the penalty area. Bringing a few men forward now. There's 7 in the Cape Verdean back line, trying to push them out towards the edge of the penalty area. The reinforcements now come in. Standing over it is Salem, trying to dictate and ask for the runners to go towards the near side. Instead he goes towards the penalty spot with the ball, and it's an excellent inviting cross in. Comes back out towards the edge of the area, and a snapshot just comes away, and it's like it has. Oh, it's just been kept in by the goalkeeper, Vozinha. The linesman was unsure, and he's going to send a long ball down the left-hand side, but just going to return it straight back to Alois in the opposite box. And it just clears the lines for Cape Verde for the moment, and it was Alex Benya, if you were interested, who scored for Spain on the 42nd minute against Uruguay. All the games that are coming up as well after this one. Egypt, Iran, the game that's being played over in Seattle. It's a fixture designated with a little bit of controversy. It's a pride fixture over in Seattle, but it's in question by both Egypt and Iran, whereas the organisers of the competition have rejected that idea, and it still will be designated as such. And New Zealand and Belgium also kicking off as well late on. It's coming up to 10 to 8 here, local time in Texas. 90 seconds to go before half-time. Salem down the right-hand side, dancing into the right-hand, trying to dance onto his right-hand side and then turn back onto his left, but just runs into a little bit of trouble, and it's cleared by Dini. Only towards the far side, but it's just left off with that by Abdul Hamid, and Verde able to pick up the ball. They're quite happy just to hold on to it. Now they're going to try and spread it again towards the right-hand side, in towards Mendes. Excellent first touch right in front of him. He's got Bouchau to try and beat, driving down the right-hand side, plays it back across the box, but good defensive work once again inside the penalty area. This time from Kaibari to get back to just in step ahead of Livramento. Clear the ball out as Saudi will try and send it down the left-hand channel, but it goes all the way through and out for a goal kick, and it will just be drawing us down slowly to the end of the first half here in Houston. On the big scoreboards they have at either end of this ground, they have the current table on show for all to see, which must be both incredibly exciting and nerve-wracking for those Cape Verdeans. Saudi Arabia ranked 61st in their 7th appearance in this major competition. They've never done as well as their round of 16 in 1994. They've been in 3 straight finals now. That win over Argentina still remains the modern reference point for them. And going down the left-hand side is Salem, but that will also be called half-time by the French official. A little bit of protestations from a few players of Saudi asking that there was a counter gone, but the referee was happy that time was up, and it is half-time. It's 0-0 between these two sides. Not a lot to really shout about. A snapshot from the edge of the box from Semedo, and a header by Kano. Comfortable for Vizinha in the goal is all that either side has been able to muster up. A very, very nervy affair. But as the table stands, Cape Verde are moving into second place, with Uruguay losing to Spain. It's half-time. It's Cape Verde 0, Saudi Arabia 0. Welcome back all for the second half. The players just finishing making their way out as there has been a change for either side. With Al Jawar making his way on for Al Khaibari, the Al Nassr man. The quiet midfield glue, he's really spectacular, and that's certainly what he hasn't been in this game. Has made his way off for Saudi's young playmaker Al Jawar in the midfield, just to add a little bit of spice and a little bit of spark for them. I'll run you through the teams in just a moment. I think it might have just been that one change at half time. There was a Verdean player just getting himself ready on this near side as well, but I think he was just going through his pre-half formalities, and we are back underway in the second half here at Houston. 0-0 between these two sides. Saudi Arabia know that they need to pick up a win if they want to go through to the next round. Cape Verde at the moment are sitting in second place. It's everything and all of it to play for in this group. Spain leading against Uruguay at the half-time. They've just kicked off as well. They're currently sitting 4 points above, and there's an early corner in this second half for Saudi Arabia down this near right-hand side, and an early chance for them to put the ball and some pressure on Vizinha in the box. The substitute Al Jawar comes across, it's next to the ball towards the far side, flicked on towards the edge of the area by a Cape Verdean head. Salem just floats it again back towards the far side, not quite knocked down by Al Amri, and then hacked away and just lopped forward higher than Bob Marley towards the edge of the penalty area towards Salem again. Trying to turn and drive down that left-hand channel, but closed out nicely by Wagner and Mendes, who are linking up ever so well. Cape Verde just trying to keep hold of their shape early on, as in the opening 90 seconds of this second half. Saudi Arabia putting them under plenty of pressure. You can see what Georgios Donis has said at half-time in terms of getting behind the back of Cape Verde and trying to get them to face the wrong way with good defensive work on this near left-hand side, and it was just the one change at half-time. Saudi Arabia, they were forced into one in the first half as well, so two changes that they've made so far, none from Cape Verde. So Cape Verde line up with Vizinha in goal. Wagner, Pico, Digne and Paulo are the back four. Pina sits just in front with Mendes, Duarte, Montero and Semedo, the midfield four, with Livramento, the star boy, a singer's son and qualification hero, sitting up front on his own there. For Saudi Arabia, well, they've got Al Owais in goal in that 4-4-2. They've got Abdul Hamid, Al Amri, Lajami and Washi Bouchal the back for Mandash, Nasser, Al Jawar and Salem, the midfield for Kano and Al Brekan, the two up front. It's Cape Verde over down the right hand side with the captain Mendes just trying to get a ball back in towards the box, and then the first strike from Cape Verde on target comes in from Montero, but it's too comfortable for the goalkeeper. Well, both sides really going for it at the start of this second half, after what was a very, very nervy opening 45 minutes. Make sure you can watch the game through your local TV provider. We'll bring you the independent off-tube-based commentary. They'll bring you the sound, they'll bring you the pictures. A nice little link up. If you are in England, you'll rather, I think, listen to me rather than the likes of Lee Dixon, who hasn't got a great rep during the competition so far, but he can be quite interesting as well when he does want to be, and he's tried to liven himself up a little bit as time goes on, but I'll never put down a fellow commentator pundit as well. It's a very difficult thing to do, and it's also difficult to get out of a group stage at this major competition as well, and it's Cape Verde so far are going to be the side out of these two that will progress into the next round. Currently sitting in second place. It will be a remarkable turn of events. Only one side has picked up a win so far in this group, and that's Spain, who are currently sitting on 2 wins and a draw. But between Cape Verde, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, not a win between them. And Uruguay and Saudi Arabia helping the other sides so far in that third place chase, which I'll keep you up to date with as this game continues to play out. It's a very, very interesting one. Uruguay is in occupied sit in 11th place in that group as a long-range effort comes in, and it had Aloe scrambling across. It was Pina who just picked it up, had a bit of a sighter. And the Cape Verdean fans here 5 minutes into this second half thought for a moment that might have rattled into the top right bin of Aloe's goal. He was outstretching. I think if it had gone on target, he would have got to it. The big Al Ula keeper had a yard or so just wide of the right hand upright. But for a moment it was sailing, and it had hearts in mouths inside this ground. So as it stands in that third place grouping, Sweden, Ecuador, Bosnia and Paraguay have all gone through to the round of 32. Senegal, can't see them dropping out now after their 5-0 thumping of Iraq earlier on to really turn it around. They knew that goal difference is going to make a huge difference. They're on +2. Iraq were down to 10 men, and it was a second half romp. Croatia still have a game in hand. They're in 6th on after 2 games on 3 points, -1 goal difference. South Korea -1 goal difference, but at less goals scored, sitting in 7th place after their back-to-back defeats as well after a really good opening game. Algeria also have a game in hand against Austria. They're in 8th place in that final all-important spot. Scotland in 9th, could go back in if results go for them, particularly if Algeria lose by 2 goals and Belgium and DR Congo fail to win as well, or if, like this result, continues in their favour as well, with Spain beating Uruguay and Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia having a result but gone back towards Vozinha, who just has to put it out of play on this near side under plenty of pressure at the back. The experienced keeper taking no chances there as he was being closed down by Albrecht up front. 16 goals in his 74 appearances. The natural number 9 who been pushed wide for Al Ali by Ivan Toney at club level. He can be a sharp finisher who's have to keep the keeper on his toes as well. As a long throw comes in, cleared out towards the edge of the area towards Livramento. First touch just invite the Saudi man Nasser to get the foot in, and just about gets it. It's cleared forward again. Header from Abdullah Hamid, just sent forward in hope more than in expectation into the Cape Verdean half. Little flick trying to go over the top, goes against the hand of the Saudi man Kano, and the free kick goes Cape Verde's way. 8 minutes then into the second half here, and we've still got plenty of time for the nerves to jangle between these two sides, and time for Cape Verde to try and find a ball down the right hand side, pull back in towards the box. Almost finding the room was Mendes once again. He's been excellent down that right hand side, but just slipped at the all important opportunity, trying to get it out of his feet, and he allowed the Saudi defence to get back and put in some heroic defending in the end. Cape Verde really showing that they can have their moments at crunch times during the game. Well, excellent defending as the long ball goes forward from Saudi Arabia straight in towards Vozinha in the goal away to our right hand side, of which Cape Verde attacking from right to left in this second half. Saudi Arabia therefore from left to right. It has just gone 8:15 in the evening local time. Both sides picking up some interesting results in the group. Spain and Cape Verde, that 0-0 12 days ago now was one of the big shocks, as well as DR Congo drawing with Portugal. Give both sides real hope and opportunity to get through to the next round. Saudi Arabia drew with Uruguay 1-1 before losing to Spain 4-0 and a real awakener. Cape Verde with that 2-2 draw against Uruguay, which again could make a huge difference and could be the difference in qualifying for the next round. And it's not the first time that Uruguay have been in a group that they would expected to have qualified from, against smaller population nations. Back in 2014 they did manage to get through ahead of Italy and England when Costa Rica won their group in really surprising fashion. That was during Uruguay's height as well, when he had prime Luis Suarez, when he picked an Italian player during that tournament as well. Not for the first time he's had a chomp of a defender. As the long ball goes down the left-hand side for Saudi Arabia, but the linesman's flag does go up for offside, and Cape Verde will have to restart from inside their own half. Just trying to work it down the right-hand side once again. They've been fairly useful, and then trying to switch it across towards Semedo on this near left-hand side, but he just can't quite get on the end of it. But it's still going to be attacking option for Cape Verde as it goes out for a corner kick, and coming across is Montero. His corner a little bit better in the first half, and the one that was put in by Paolo earlier on in the game. It's going to be Montero who stands over it once again. Verde now putting a few extra bodies inside the box, goes towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but headed out ever so well by the Saudi defence, who've kept their line, and they're marking inside the box on point there. Comes back out towards Montero, who just plays it off the chest of Bouchal on this near side. Wins a throw-in, taken quickly in towards Semedo, working it across towards the right-hand side. Opportunity to now get the ball into the box once again, but it was pulled back towards the edge of the area in towards Paolo. Continues it across towards the left-hand side towards the Cape Verdean left-back, crossed in towards the edge of the box, and the shot then on the volley. Snatched at it again by Duarte, got his body really all in a mess. He's tried to get over it, also got under it, and in the end sort of just hacks at it as it goes well wide of the goal. But it was a shot that came in. Now the earlier one from Evan Pena, they're showing around the ground once again. It almost troubled the goalkeeper, but it is probably the best attempt we've had in the game so far, of which there haven't been too many chances between these two sides, but it's certainly not been a drab 0-0, that's for sure. Nervy, scrappy, yes, but with the implications that it does have. Both of these two sides certainly do know that. Pedro Bubista Brito has a settled Cape Verdean core that has been together for years. They're physical, patient without the ball, dangerous when the game opens up for what can be their technical forwards on their day. Georgios Donis, who only arrived in April after Hervé Renard's exit. Saudi Arabia still being built in tournament conditions, really. His own line is simple, that the team is a work in progress, and that can't be changed at the press of a button. He's only had a couple of games pre-tournament to really work with his squad. And Saudi Arabia, they need a little bit more control in this second half, but they're trying not to overcommit. Cape Verde's excellent counter-attacking moments that we have seen in the tournament, particularly against Uruguay in the last round of fixture. Still 1-0 to Spain in that game, coming up to 2/3 of the way through the contest. You can watch the game through your local TV network provider, listen to it through us. And Saudi Arabia just passing it around themselves, just trying to have a bit more patient play, a bit more methodical. But then a long ball goes through and is easily dealt with by Paulo, who's been excellent at left back for Cape Verde this evening. Knocks it back towards his goalkeeper Vozinha. Rolled out though in towards the middle, and poor from Pena just gives the ball away, but equally poor from Saudi Arabia, returns it in favour. Push towards the right hand side for Montero, trying to get the ball down the line, trying to feed it in, but an excellent tackle comes in as Livramento was again trying to get behind the back line of the Saudi defence. Given away once again by the Green Falcons in towards the middle. This time Pena just holds on to the ball, moves it to the left hand side in towards Duarte. Back inside his own half to Pico. Holding on to the ball once more. Saudi Arabia not trying to, as you mentioned moments ago, commit too many players forward in this game. Verde ranked 67th in the world. A debut tournament. And one of the smallest nations ever to qualify. But they are certainly holding their own, as they did in their qualification as well. They topped the Group D in the African qualification ahead of Cameroon, finishing with 7 wins from 10 qualified, 16 goals scored, 8 conceded. The 3-0 win over Eswatini sealed their first qualification. As it's pushed down the right-hand side again from Mendes, but just overhits it and overruns it and out for a goal kick. But Verde, they know that as it stands, they're going through and they're going to bring on some reinforcements as well as they're forced into their first changes. Livramento will be making his way off for Nuno da Costa. Dallin Livramento, the Casa Pia man, comes off, as does Semedo, who's replaced by Helio Varela, the man who plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv, and the man who scored the equaliser against Uruguay to make sure the Blue Sharks believed again. He's forgiven after his controversy in the African Cup of Nations. And Da Costa, the man, also coming up to try and add a little bit of firepower up front. The man who plies his trade in Turkey for Başakşehir. It's his 10th appearance for the national team. A 5th-tier late bloomer turned international forward. Versatile across the line, carrying a career full of hard edges. The 35-year-old bringing a little bit of experience to the side late on into his career, and he comes on for Willy Semedo, the man who plays for Omonia Niskosia in Cyprus. 32-year-old, the live wire who took the road through Cyprus 4th-tier football, now arrives as Verde's most informed player at club level. It comes off. So 2 changes made for both sides. 28 minutes to play in this game. As it stands, Cape Verde are making the round of 32 on what would be a remarkable night. I would love to be on that island nation, in one of the many islands, celebrating with them if that was the case, but Saudi Arabia still have time. To get themselves through as well. 1 goal seems to be like it might make all the difference. But in Boa Vista and Sal, they're watching on as Cape Verde down the left-hand side trying to break in towards the area. Man goes down inside the box. The referee allows play to continue, and then the overstep it came in from Pina, gives the free kick away to Saudi. Just on the edge of their own penalty area. Little tackle from Pina on Mandash, who another late bolter whose end-season scoring burst forced the conversation. And Mandash came in. They'll make 2 more changes in Saudi Arabia, but they're taking too long to make those changes, and the referee will therefore decide that the game will continue for another minute before those changes can be made. That 10-second rule being applied on that occasion. I don't know why Saudi Arabia would take too long to bring players on, especially since they are the ones that need a goal. Cool, calm head from Vrzinha at the back. Moves across towards the left-hand side in towards Paulo. Back again towards the edge of his own area in towards Lejami, who's not under any real pressure from Kano, who could have a bit more of effort up front. He might be one of those that might come off in a moment or two. Looks like he's already accepted his fate, but we'll find out in a moment if that is the case. Moved across towards Paulo down the left-hand side, trying to stretch his legs. Got a bit of support from the substitute of Helio. Drawn back on to his right. Drives it in towards the middle. Nicely in towards Montero. Turns back towards his left-hand side. Paulo is an opportunity to try and pass it. Instead, he tries to go a little bit more central in towards Da Costa, but a good header and cleared out by Saudi Arabia. Only as far, though, who's Duarte halfway inside the Saudi half. Good link-up play this is from Cape Verde. Feels like they're just bubbling and producing something at the moment. Back in with Pina. Moves it across towards the right-hand side. Still, though, forcing their way back inside the centre circle now, with Saudi Arabia refusing to move out of the shape that they've kept so far in this game. Pico. Overlap comes in down the right-hand side. Goes over the top and Mendes is asked to chase it, but rather easy defending again, and that nice little move that Cape Verde were just trying to put against the Saudis there comes away with nothing at the end of it. And the two changes that now be made will be the captain Salem will make his way off for Al Hamdan. He was a substitute in the game against Spain. Comes on for the captain, the Al Nassr man, the son of a goalkeeper, turned forward. Still battling for minutes, but he's useful for the graft and to provide a little bit of pressure. And also making his way off is the man off at the other side. Mandash for Al Shamat. A like-for-like replacement. Exact same substitute that took place in that game against Spain as well. In the last round of fixtures, so two changes made. Al Shamat, the twins' son, project shaped by his father, now so highly rated that Al Hilal pushed bids towards 10 million. And were told no, he rejected them in fact. Plays for Al Qadsirat, the 23-year-old making his 9th appearance for the national team. And he comes on down the right hand side, just one change remaining for the Saudis in this game. And Salem Al Dosari, the Al Hilal man, in his 113th game, not able to add to it. There's a long ball down the right hand side, just lofted over the top and easy for Vusinha to pick it out of his box. Trying to roll it forward, but running into traffic was Montero. Saudi Arabia trying to work it in closer and closer towards the Cape Verde box, but Cape Verde really standing up ever so well with a substitute Al Hamdan onto the ball, drives himself into traffic, and now Cape Verde will try and come away with it. They'll draw the free kick and also draw the referee to his pocket as well as the yellow card comes out for the Saudi man. And it was Nasser, the man who's gone into the referee's book. He just came across Da Costa over on the right hand side, who had plenty of space in front of him. A tactical foul and a tactical booking more than anything else. And I don't blame him for making that tackle. It keeps Saudi Arabia still within this game. Spain still lead by a goal to nil against Uruguay. That game is a minute behind this one. About 30-40 seconds behind this one, I should say. Both games, kicking off almost identical in the second half as well. Still 0-0 here with 22.5 minutes to play. It is still all to play for. The nerves jangling for both of these two sides as the time rolls on. But it is rolling in Cape Verde's favour. The ball down the left-hand side also in their favour. Helio turns back onto his right, pushes it to the right corner of the area towards Paolo, trying to link up in towards the middle nicely with Wagner, who's moved from the right-hand side to the left-hand side in this second half. But his pass is a loose one and it enables Saudi Arabia just to hack the ball away towards the left-hand side, in towards Al Hamdan. Knocks it down but gives it away inside his own half to the Blue Sharks once again. Wagner now over on the right-hand side, pushes the ball in towards the box, and then the cross towards the edge of the 6-yard box, easily dealt with, only as far as Pina on the edge of the area. Tries to push it down the right-hand side and take on a man himself, returns the ball in towards the area, and in fact it goes straight out into the stand behind the goal. And it wasn't the best of crosses, and there's going to be another break here in the second half, the second hydration break. The referee, the Frenchman, has declared Francois Letexier, who's in charge of this game. He took charge of the Euro final between Spain and England at the age of just 35 years old. It makes me feel a little bit useless sat here at 33, becoming the youngest referee to take charge of a European Championship final. The experience, though, is certainly something that we have seen throughout this game, as he's managed it ever so well. Saudi Arabia, as it stands on the verge of going out. They need a goal. They've only scored one the entire tournament, and that was 12 days ago against Uruguay in their opening fixture. The man that scored that was the centre-half, Al Amri, just before half-time, before Uruguay scored with 10 minutes to go through Arujo. to offer something in that game. Luis Suarez was present in that one. Saudi Arabia, their football identity being transformed by investment. But this squad still carries an older problem, local forwards and goalkeepers fighting for minutes in a league packed with important stars. Important and imported, more or less. And that 1994 World Cup run in the United States remains the benchmark for this side. This is their chance to repeat that feat on American soil once again. First time, though, getting out of the group doesn't take you directly into the round of 16 at this major competition. It goes now to the round of 32. As the games start to really wind down. The round of 32 kicks off in 2 days' time. It'll be Germany against somebody on Monday, which will be one of 2 games on that day. The other will be Brazil, Japan. The 4-game days as a minimum will end as the hydration break continues. There will be another change, and it will be 2 changes, in fact, for Cape Verde. Rodriguez will come on for the captain, Mendes. And Duarte will make his way on for Montero as well. So Gary Rodriguez is the man to come on the right-hand side. Mendes, the captain, has been excellent down that right-hand channel, but just running out of a little bit of steam as the game's gone on. And replaced by Gary Rodriguez, the man who plays his club football in Cyprus for Apollon Limassol. His 62nd appearance, the former Rotterdam postman, Feyenoord Academy graduate and elder statesman. He can still light up a match, though, if you give him a chance. The other man that came on was Laros Duarte, to which during the second half, I will call him Laros to avoid the confusion between himself and Diroy Duarte, the Puskas Academia man in his 21st appearance. The older Duarte of the 2 brothers paved the academy path for Diroy. Now the brothers live the once unthinkable dream of playing together. It has been a battle of brothers now in this game, although the 2 now on the pitch for Cape Verde. Only 1 left on the pitch for Saudi Arabia, with Nasser remaining on the pitch as Salem went off earlier on. Saudi Arabia don't have a free kick as we're back underway. Floated in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but cleared back out for a thrown over on the far side of the pitch. 17 minutes to go in this game. And it's Cape Verde having to do the defensive work. Mendes, who was the captain, top scorer, most capped player that the Blue Sharks had. He's known as the GOAT of the nation. He is now off. Closing in. What a huge feat. Getting his 100th appearance for the national side. He'll be just 1 away. So if he can get through to the next round, as it stands, they'll be playing Argentina. What a 100th appearance that could be for the Cape Verdean captain. Montero was the other man, Jamiro Montero, the ex-Wall man, the creative heartbeat. He returns to the America after his MLS years. Still carrying the Arnie Slot lesson of turning ball winning into attacking threat. And here comes Cape Verde round the corner into the box, and what a save that is from Alois in the back. He had to make a save. He had to come out and off his line. Cape Verde had the counter-attack. They ended up 4-on-2 in very, very quick time, racing towards the edge, flicked then in through in towards the box, but Alois getting down ever so well to deny Cape Verde what could have been the goal that sends them into the next round of this competition. And what an important save. That could be heroic from the keeper. He had to be alert. He had to be on his toes. And that's exactly what he did there. Verde have a corner on the far side of the pitch. They've got 6 inside the box, 1 on the edge of the area. Sent it towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and then a header that came in from Pico, just going over the top of the bar. And Alois doing everything right there. It came in towards the Costa, which was given away. And he did ever so well. The quick counter-attack, just playing it over the top. It was an excellent first touch. Driving towards the edge of the box was Wagner, slipped it in towards the Costa and forcing what could be a very important save by Alois. With just 14 and a half minutes to play. In this contest, but it's Saudi Arabia again on the ball. They're trying to drive forward. That might have woken them up a little bit. Push towards Abdul Hamid down the right hand side. Force the corner if it comes off. Paolo at the back. And now it's Saudi Arabia's turn to apply a little bit of pressure as the momentum starts to swing from towards either side of this game goes on. Verde have had a good portion of the ball, but Saudi Arabia with an opportunity here. The ball comes in, excellently dealt with again from the Cape Verdean defence, but out towards the edge of the area. The second ball falls down in towards the Saudi. The third ball, though, cleared out by Cape Verde and pushed back towards Wagner in that right back role. Loves to take on a man and does so just then, and then wins a free kick as well against Al Hamdan over on the far side of the pitch. 13 minutes to go as well between the game between Uruguay and Spain. Still Spain leading by a goal to nil as it stands. It's Cape Verde going through second in the group. Time is running out for plenty of sides. It comes in from the near left-hand side, and the shot comes in from Pina, but it's defended well from Lajami, who put in a couple of them blocks against Spain a few days ago. And he had to be alert. And it was a substitute, Laros, who had the chance moments ago, not Da Costa. He almost made an instant impact after coming off the bench. 12 and a half minutes for Cape Verde to make history. 12 and a half minutes for Saudi Arabia to do something they haven't done in 32 years. And that is make the knockout stages of the major tournament on this near side. Saudi with the ball once again, trying to play it around the back. Cape Verde defender slips on the first opportunity in Dini, but thankfully for him it just trickles through towards the keeper, Vozinha. Is there a late twist in this major tournament tale for one of these two sides? It could well be the day that Cape Verde dreamed of. A point could well be enough, even if Uruguay end up scoring. But they're playing with that passion that they need to. They're playing with a side that has everything on the line, but they want to do this on their own accord. How they'd love to get their first win. Darrow, since come on the pitch, has been rather lively. On the edge of the area, he just drives it towards the right-hand side in towards fellow sub Rodriguez. Tries to a bit of a pop shot from the edge of the area, but just straight in towards that wall of the white shirts on the edge of the Saudi box. Over towards the left-hand side, in towards Al Jouar. Spreads it instead towards this near right-hand side, in towards Abdul Hamadi. 2 yards off the touchline. Plays it back and then makes the run down the right-hand side. The return pass looking for him just has to be put out of play by Paolo. And Dini linking up together straight into the stands. Abdul Hamid, I should certainly start adding extra letters to the poor man's name for absolutely no reason. And with 10 minutes to go, it's back on the halfway line with Lajami. Moved again down that right-hand side, looking for Abdul Hamid. Linking up Will Al-Jawar, who's crossing towards the box. He pulled it back onto his left. Is a poor one and goes out for a goal kick. And that will whittle a few more seconds down for Cape Verde. It could well be a very historic night for a small island nation. With just a population of just over 600,000. More people in the Saudi capital than in the entirety of Cape Verde by almost 12-fold. 7 million live in Riyadh. Riyadh alone, 600,000 in the entirety of Cape Verde. And it's Cape Verde who are doing the job so far. Saudi, though, on the attack. They know it's do or die for them right now. They have to play it forward. They have to find a late goal that could break Cape Verdean hearts. So far, it's the other way round, and so far, it's Cape Verde sitting in second, 4 points behind Spain, but that doesn't matter to them. All that matters is that they're sitting in second place. Other nations looking on as well. Probably watching the game between Uruguay and Spain more as that implication. If Uruguay were to score, would then put Cape Verde into that third place picture once more, and that would move them into sixth position, which would knock out Scotland pretty much certainly at that point. But as it stands, the Scots can breathe just very, very lightly. Saudi Arabia will make their fifth and final change, and coming off will be Nawaf Bouchal on a booking. The speedster from the Al Asaka Oasis makes his way on for Al Harabi at the back, making his third appearance of the competition as well. The Al Hilal man, the £20 million fullback, the Renard, approved and still chasing the international statement that would match his club reputation. And I'm sure if he was to find a late goal, those questions would be all but answered. Looking down the right hand side for the runner, Abdul Hamid flicks it over the top of Paolo, tries to link in towards the area, nicely in towards Al-Jawar. Looked like a high foot inside the box as well. That's been appealed by those in the stands, but the referee allowing play to go on, but it goes out for a throw to Cape Verde on this near side, level at the edge of their own penalty area. And a high boot that we thought a moment ago from Al-Jawar. They just got a quick replay on the screen inside the ground, and he did retreat that right boot before it got near the Cape Verdean defender's head, and it's ever so well. The ball's played in, space to move it towards the left-hand side, but selfishly from Nasir, he saw the lights and he went for goal rather than finding the space down the left-hand side to give Saudi Arabia an opportunity. 6 minutes to go, just over 6 minutes to go in this game. Play down the left-hand side. Nasir, who's looking tired, turns his back against the ball and allows Cape Verde to just bring it out comfortably. In with the substitute Laros. Moves it across towards Wagner down the right-hand side. Cape Verde happy to just hold on to the ball. At what point do they start taking it to the corner? They can look up and they can see it. Oh, the keeper spilled it inside the box. Almost an opportunity for Cape Verde. Comes back out to the edge of the area. The shot there and just flashed at it. And it's high, it's wide, it's not very handsome from Pina. But that was almost an absolute gimme for Cape Verde. It was an innocuous ball from the right-hand side in towards the box. And Alois rose highest. There was under no challenger in the box, and he just spilled it and almost gave a goal to Cape Verde. Thankfully for him, there was no one there. Al Amri also tried to clear it but couldn't get it cleared on the first instance. It's still with Cape Verde down the right hand side, under a challenger driving towards the area, still going inside the box, going alone, and then just can't quite get the strike on target. And it was De Costa again, doing ever so well. He was really sportsmanlike to stay on his feet down that right-hand channel. It was under real pressure from Al Harbi, who just seemed to get his feet all in a muddle. And I felt if he had gone down there, the Cape Verdean, surely the referee had to point to the spot. The referee just pausing play for a moment. There's a little bit of just afters going on between Brecan and Pico, but the referee now has had his word. He said his piece, and we'll get the game back underway. And for a 0-0, it's been a really good contest between two sides. Push down the left-hand side for Cape Verde, really trying to seal their place now in the next round to do it all on their own. A goal now would give them a very, very famous victory. Still on the ball with Paolo. Been arguably the best Cape Verdean player on the pitch. Links up with Helio. Drives it down the left-hand side. Pulled back towards the edge of the area. Opportunity for Wagner. Takes the face on the way through. Comes back across the 6-yard box, and there's no one there to stab it home again. And chance is begging for Cape Verde. They're doing everything right apart from getting someone in that final third to tuck it away. It was a wonderful ball down the left-hand side from Helio, linking nicely in towards Laros. His ball came back across the edge of the box towards Wagner. His shot was blocked. Racing in was Rodriguez, who got a touch on it, but just put off by the Saudi defence. And it squirmed across the 6-yard box. Hearts in mouths, and hearts in mouths again, as here come Cape Verde once again with Laros. Pulls it back across, getting it all in a muddle again. Inside the box is the Costa. He tried to take it down. It just bounced off his left boot from the Rodriguez cross, and then comes off his right and cleared out. But for a moment, Rodriguez, I think he may have actually gone to pass it on replay. Wagner tried to go for the top corner as it came back out towards Rodriguez. I think he's just tried to lay it off to someone, hopefully trying to run in inside the 6-yard box rather than going for goal. You can watch these final few moments. Remember to watch them through your local network provider. I'll bring you all the sound in the dying 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time in this game, to which at the moment could well be, well, it is about standard in this competition. It's good to say the well-being about 6 minutes added on. It is standard. There's going to be 6 minutes added on really in both halves. The hydration break always takes 3, and then the formality of the stoppages that we do have in play. Although I am not too sure why they don't just stop the clock during the hydration breaks, but maybe that brings it a little bit too American in Saudi Arabia, trying to go for a killer blow themselves down the left-hand side, and they'll win a corner kick. Al Harbi forcing it off Wagner, who is all over the pitch down that right-hand channel. And Saudi Arabia, oh, it's been overturned. It's been overturned. It's a goal kick. The referee has said that it came off Al Harbi last. He made the right call to point to the corner. It was an excellent tackle that came across. It was Duarte, the man, that came across. And out it goes for a goal kick. That slowed the game down a little bit more. It winds the clock down as well. 2 minutes to go. And it's a famous, famous, famous night for the Blue Sharks. They haven't had too much bite in this game, but they've refused to sink as well. And it's down the right-hand side. Now you can see the nerves in this ground. Heads are in hands. Fans cannot look. Whether you're from Cape Verde, whether you're from Saudi Arabia or a neutral, the nerves are setting in. I'm nervous for both of these two sides as well. It's with Rodriguez down the right, tries to put the cross in, but can't keep it in the pitch. It's a goal kick with 90 seconds to go to Saudi Arabia. The man with that distinctive white headband down the right-hand side couldn't quite keep the ball in play. Still 1-0 to Spain in the other Group H game against Uruguay. Spain are going through. They will top the group. Even if Uruguay were to score, there isn't a lot that can change it. Now, and his keeper almost, Alois getting caught inside his 6-yard box. Almost getting caught. Just about cleared it away at the last millisecond of an opportunity. Across towards Al Hamdan. Now inside the Cape Verde half. 40 seconds plus stoppage time to go here for Saudi Arabia. For a 0-0, it's had all the nerves of two sides that know that a goal changes history for one of these two sides. It's with Cape Verde. So with Saudi Arabia, my apologies, inside the Cape Verde half. With Kano, turns, runs into traffic and gives away the free kick as well, and that's celebrated like a goal by the Cape Verdeans as the 90th minute comes up on the clock. We're just waiting for the fourth official to declare how much time will be added on at the end of this game. Five minutes have been added on. I'm surprised it isn't more. To be fair, we've had 9 substitutions and the hydration break, which is 3 minutes alone. Although substitutes are far, far quicker these days. You can't waste time coming off the pitch. It's one of the rules that have been brought in, which I am very, very much for, as well as the 5-second rule for throw-ins to be taken. There are some really good rules that have been brought in. We haven't had too many VAR controversies. The biggest one came between Qatar and Switzerland when VAR seemingly didn't work. And then disputes about the offside as a long ball goes in from this near side from Duarte, trying to find Rodriguez down the right-hand side, but it just trickles out of play for a goal kick. 4 minutes left for Saudi Arabia to save their skin. 4 minutes left for Cape Verde. History. They've never been in this major competition before. They've never made... Well, clearly never made the knockout stage as well. They're lining up their final change as well. Steven Moreira, the Columbus crew man, the MLS Cup winner, Defender of the Year and straight-talking fullback. America is a home stage for him. And one of Cape Verde's best defenders is about to come on for his 21st appearance for his national side, the 31-year-old. But he'll have to wait until the ball goes out of play as it's with Saudi Arabia. Halfway inside the Cape Verde half, just hugging the far touchline. Going back as they just can't seem to find a way through. As Cape Verde have been very strong this entire game defensively. They have not let up that shape. They've reduced Saudi Arabia to just 6 shots all game. And as it comes to the edge of the area, and another shot comes in, but it's straight at Vozinha. And that was probably the opportunity for Al Hamdan. It's celebrated in the stands by the Cape Verdean Prime Minister, who's here watching on. And with 3 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes to go, in fact, Cape Verde have the ball down the left-hand side, driving in towards the middle, chopping and turning down now the left-hand side. Once again is Helio, trying to drive in towards the box. He got an equaliser against Uruguay, trying to find a winner for his side here. Can't quite run through the traffic as it's cleared towards the halfway line, in towards Albrecan, who gives away the free kick and gets a yellow card for good measure as well. And now the change can be made to just draw the clock down a few seconds in Cape Verde's favour. It was excellent work from Paulo. I'm not too sure what the referee has seen there. I think he might have just come into it and maybe just left a little leg in there at Albrecan. Little foot in on the defender. But Paulo has been superb at the back, as has Wagner on the opposite side. He'll make his way off for Moreira, who comes on to just provide some reassurance. All changes have been made for both sides. There's nothing more that the coaches can do here. Bubista and Donis just have to look on now with 90 seconds to play. Is there another twist in this tale, in this wonderful tournament, in the tightest of groups? At the start of the day, any one of the 4 sides could have gone through. 3 of the 4 sides could have won the group. It's floated in towards the area for Saudi Arabia, headed back out, knocked back down inside the box, then just hammered out by Duarte into their stands over the dugouts here with less than 60 seconds to play. Still playing in the game between Uruguay and Spain. 5 minutes was added on in that game as well. That's just got 60 seconds to go. in this one. There's 40 seconds left. The long throw being wound up by Lajami in towards the area, headed back out and knocked down towards his near side, and again being celebrated, but still in Cape Verde territory, and is hacked away into the Saudi half. Now there's an opportunity for a counter-attack on the right-hand side. Rodriguez, there's 3 getting forward for Cape Verde. Can this be the moment he stands on top of the ball? It's still inside their possession though, and the opportunity to kill it off has gone against them. Uruguay down to 10 men against Spain. That will give Cape Verde even more hope in this contest with just a few seconds remaining. Down the right-hand side, in towards Rodriguez, pulls it back and it's missed! And it could have been for Da Costa. That was possibly the moment for history for the first ever 3 points in Cape Verdean major tournament history. It was a lovely ball. It may have been brought back for offside against Rodriguez. He got there ahead of the keeper. He pulled it back towards Da Costa, who had the goal gaping in front of him, and just puts it inches wide. But that is the full-time whistle anyway, and it is history for Cape Verde. They refused to sink and bow to pressure, and the Blue Sharks are swimming towards Argentina in the round of 32. It's a historic night for the African nation of just 600,000. The tears are on the faces of the Cape Verdean players. Saudi Arabia are out. Cape Verde go through in a game that had the nerves, it had the pressure. The Cape Verdean players, well, they're looking on to see what is happening in the game between Uruguay and Spain. That game is still going on. They know that if Uruguay score late on, it might not be for them just yet. But with Uruguay down to 10 men, coming up to the 90th minute, the 6th minute of 5 added on, they still wait. Stay with us while we find out what's happening. But at the moment it is Cape Verde who are going through. Spain still lead against Uruguay by 1-0. Uruguay, as it stands, have a goal kick at the moment inside the left-hand side of the pitch. They're going to try and work it forward again. Do they have anything left in them? 10 men. It's gone out for a Spain throw-in in the 97th minute. The fans here are looking on. The players are gathered round. They're not celebrating just yet. And there it is. The celebrations can start for Cape Verde. Uruguay have lost. They haven't won a game, Cape Verde, but they're through to the round of 32. They're going to play Argentina, and it's history, and it's party time for the island nation off the west coast of Africa. What a night, what a performance, and for a 0-0, it had all the nerves. A nervy first half, saw a half chance each, with a snapshot from the edge of the area by Semedo for Cape Verde, and a header from Kano straight at Vizinha for Saudi. A fine save from Alois kept Saudi Arabia in it from Laros moments after he came on. On the dying minutes though, Da Costa could have won it for Cape Verde. Saudi Arabia weren't really at the races today. They never really looked like scoring. It's Cape Verde's night. They go through. They'll play Argentina. It's finished 0-0. But Cape Verde go through. Good night.